This is Pete Johnson from Sipos Technologies, and today we are going to demonstrate the PowerSync analyzer and in particular the fully automated PSE Conformance test suite for testing end-span and mid-span PSEs. Over the next 5 minutes, my assistant and I will show you how easy and how cost-effective it is to perform comprehensive PSE conformance testing with coverage exceeding 95% of PSE PICS items from the IEEE 802.3 specification. No other test instrument or test service offers anything close to the defect coverage and test effectiveness of the PowerSync Analyzer's PSE Conformance test suite. Let's start by reviewing a couple of critical objectives. Our first objective is to assure high confidence in PSE interoperability across all possible powered devices and connection environments. Secondly, we hope to identify design or manufacturing defects that would subtly or overtly degrade PSE safety and performance characteristics. Now let's consider who will benefit from these objectives. Product design engineers are tasked with selecting components and designing interfaces that must safely interoperate with a limitless variety of powered devices across unpredictable connection environments. Wide variety and configuration flexibility associated with PSE integrated controller technology couples with increasing power management constraints to make this a potentially daunting task. Quality assurance professionals are typically tasked with assessing product safety as well as the full range of performance across a statistical population of products and application environments. High expertise in 802.3 PoE specifications may not be a core competency. Production engineers and technicians require tools to evaluate ongoing hardware and embedded software design revisions, component changes, finished product quality, line rejects, and field returns. Independent test laboratories may also get involved with powered Ethernet interface safety and performance characteristics. It is typically impractical for these organizations to build up testing methods and capabilities on their own. The PSA 3000 here is configured with 16 test ports. The PSA 3000 can be configured with 1 to 12 test blades, each with 2 independent test ports, for a maximum of 24 test ports per chassis. The PSA 3000 is also available as a compact PowerSync analyzer that serves as a portable desktop instrument. I've asked my assistant, Becky, to help out with this demonstration. Becky will be connecting the PowerSync Analyzer test cables to a 10-port 802.3 AT Type 2 PSE switch. With the cabling now completed, our testing can begin. But first, we'll go over our plan. Becky will start by opening PSA Interactive software and connecting to our PowerSync Analyzer. Then she will configure PSA test ports to PSE characteristics, take a look at 1 or 2 PSE waveforms, capture an LLDP protocol trace, and then move on to sequencing PSE conformance tests. PSA 3000 software is supported on all versions of Microsoft Windows and on Linux PCs as well. PSA Interactive is an intuitive graphical user interface software for the PSA 3000. The PSA 3000 also includes PowerShell PSA, a TickleTK based automated test script development and execution environment for the PowerSync Analyzer. Becky will now walk us through what she is doing on the computer.
I'm opening PSA Interactive and connecting to the PSA 3000 instrument. I'll do this by selecting the proper IP address, then simply pressing Connect. I first need to configure PSA test ports to match the powered pairs, polarity, and MPS configuration of the PSE. I can do this using the Auto Discover function in the port configuration menu. I can also configure the PSA simply by loading a pre-stored PSE configuration file from the Load Config dialog. I will now open the Waveforms menu and take a quick look at this emulated Class 4 power-up sequence. From this waveform, I can see the PSE must be using an LLDP to grant Type 2 power as the classification is single event. I'll also take a look at the disconnect shutdown voltage waveform to verify that the PSE is indeed using the DC MPS disconnect method. I'll now take a look at an LLDP protocol trace captured while emulating a Class 4 PD requesting 20.4 watts to assess the LLDP protocol integrity of this PSE. Okay, I'm ready to start an automated PSE conformance test sequence. I'll open the sequencer menu and configure the PD emulation to type 2. Then select the test ports and select all of the PSE conformance tests. Now I'll just press sequence test. The testing as configured will take about 15 minutes per port to complete, and the test report will automatically pop up upon completion of the sequence.
While our tests are running, let's go over important features of the PowerSync analyzer in the PSE Conformance Test Suite from Sipos Technologies. The PSE Conformance Test Suite for the PowerSync analyzer is the most comprehensive, versatile, and automated IEEE 802.3 AT PSE conformance tester on the market by far. It fully eliminates the need for all other test equipment in the development and QA of power sourcing Ethernet ports, and it fully supports PoE LLDP protocol testing and emulation. The PSE Conformance Test Suite provides greater than 95% 802.3 AT PICS coverage from 23 tests producing more than 70 IEEE 802.3 AT test parameters per port. It has become the virtual standard used by PSE silicon vendors. The PSE Conformance Test Suite automatically adapts to a wide variety of physical layer signaling schemes and power control behaviors inherent to modern PSE controllers. Each PSA test port flexibly emulates a variety of normal and aberrant PD behaviors while assessing PSE responses to those behaviors in the context of IEEE 802.3 AT specifications. The PSE Conformance Test Suite produces highly informative reports. The standard pop-up Excel spreadsheet report provides colorful annotations of test limit performance and statistics of each parameter across multiple PSE ports sequenced during testing. Test diagnostics, including waveform captures and textual data, is readily collected from individual PSE tests. So let's now explore how you can benefit from the PowerSync analyzer in the PSE Conformance Test Suite from Sipos Technologies. First, you can assure quality and build confidence that your power sourcing Ethernet interfaces are able to function successfully with all compliant powered devices across the full range of connection environments. Testing is easily performed with a minimal learning curve and minimal expertise with 802.3 AT specifications. Finally, you save the cost, time, and expertise development inherent in more manual methods of PSE testing. Many of you who are responsible for PSE testing may also be interested in methods for efficiently analyzing 10, 100, 1000 base T performance. While we wait for the completion of the PSE conformance test, let's take a brief look at the 5U analyzer from Sipos Technologies. The 5U analyzer is the only instrument in the world that provides true physical layer analysis of 10, 100, 1000 transmitter, interface, receiver, and auto-neg performance characteristics. As with the PSE Conformance Test Suite, testing is fully automated plug-and-play based on unique patented technology from Sipos. Interfaces are tested while linked and experiencing controlled impairments. The 5U analyzer is packaged as 2-port test blades that may be intermixed with PSA 3000 test blades in a PSA 3000 chassis. It is also offered in the compact format. Specifically for PSE ports, the PHY Performance Test Suite offers fully automated analysis of PSE tolerance of DC unbalance, a much more direct method than packet flow for assessing the interaction between PoE and LAN signaling integrity. Our conformance test sequence is just completed, so the spreadsheet report is preparing to open. Testing can be resequenced multiple cycles in order to collect statistics and to capture intermittent PSE behaviors. In such cases, one report page is developed per sequencing cycle. From our test results page, we see that the report is scaled for the 10 PSE ports tested using slot 1 port 1 through slot 5 port 2. Test names and test parameters fill the first column of this report. In the report header, we see information regarding the PSE type, time, and date of testing, and test mode, in this case 30 watt or type 2 PD emulation. The rightmost columns include applicable test limits and min-max average parameter statistics. Detail regarding all of the PSE conformance tests and their associated parameters can be found in the Sipos PSA CTS datasheet. Some detail is also available on the notes pages of this spreadsheet report. Scrolling down the test results, we see that this PSE is failing 3 distinct conformance tests. The class error test failures suggest that the PSE controller enables power-up given invalid PD classification signatures of greater than 50 milliamps. The LLDP protocol timing failure indicates that the PSE fails to issue a first LLDP message to a PD within 10 seconds of power-up most of the time. Finally, a marginal power capacity failure in the power-on power cap test suggests that one port is operating very slightly below the minimum required 30-watt power level. We'll now take a look at the interop page of the standard report to see a score for PSE interoperability performance. This interop score is an arbitrary Sipos metric that ranks the severity of any conformance failures. This PSE scores quite well at 95%, but is not quite perfect. The standard test report is a read-only Excel spreadsheet and should be saved to an appropriate location in order to preserve the test data. Once Becky completes this, the testing task is done. You should observe that the total labor effort here was minimal, yet the insights developed into PSE specification conformance are considerable. You should also observe that a single cycle of testing a single PSE port will not expose the many possible intermittent or port-specific conformance characteristics of many PSEs. Now that we have completed testing of a 10-port PSE using the PowerSync analyzer and the PSE Conformance test suite, I hope you will agree with me that comprehensive PSE conformance analysis can be a relatively simple task to perform, and that testing need not be limited to a single PSE port or to just the major design updates. It's been a pleasure to demonstrate the PowerSync analyzer and the fully automated PSE Conformance test suite. You can contact Sipos directly using our website, or you can contact a local Sipos distributor based on your location. Those distributors are identified on the www.sipos.com website. Thank you for your attention, and Sipos Technologies looks forward to helping you with your Power over Ethernet testing challenges.